Well, hello, stitchy friends. Hello, hello. Welcome to a chilly February day in Oregon. The last few days have been very cold, very cold for here anyway. I mean, not like drastically cold, but it's still cold. So we're talking in the low 30s now. I realize, and sometimes in the high 20s. That's not as cold as some areas get. But it's cold enough for here. And that included the beach, which I will get into later. That was even that low for temperatures, which is unusual because the beach tends to stay pretty moderate in the 40s. Summers it will go up, not as high as in the valley or whatnot, but yeah, it usually stays pretty mild on the beach, even if there's storms and stuff. So yeah, it's been chilly here lately. Woo! Okay, I think this might be a tad long, so I'm going to jump right in and get to a bunch of stuff, so we don't make this any longer than necessary. Unless you like watching long videos or just kind of listening while you're doing other things and not necessarily watching, which I do sometimes for certain things. I'm just kind of listening to stuff because I can't actually physically watch all the time, which unless you're looking at the whips or stitching projects, maybe you don't necessarily need to watch the whole thing. It could be just listening or occasionally looking. So yeah. And you can see my little kitty back there moving around, my little black one. That's Penelope. So who knows if you'll see more of her. Okay, for the first thing I want to quickly discuss, and I'm going to go kind of what I do a lot of times is I jump between stitching stuff and other things that are going on so that there's a little bit of variety throughout the video and it's not just all bam, 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 one thing and then move to something else. So we're going to start off with the fact that I am starting a new stitching plan for the year. I'm not doing the WIPCO. I'm not doing any of the other things that people have done. This is just something I'm doing. And when I was at StitchCon, they had a whole bunch of the Book of Days that they were just giving out for free on the freebie table. But of course, it was for 2022. So I changed the thing on here. I put a little thing for 2023. And then, yes, I'm going to have to change all of the months. I know it's upside down, but all of the months to be the correct day. I don't care. It doesn't take very long to do that. And then I've got a book to use, and it's kind of nice because it has fun little sayings that can be an encouragement to you, maybe uplift you. So like for January, it says, may your life be crowded with unexpected joys. So it's kind of nice being able to see stuff like that and just kind of give a little lift to your day. So anyway, I'm going to use this to keep track because I don't think I really kept track of specific things I was stitching last year. I seem to get into the habit of, especially if something I really needed to get done, which I still could do that if it's something that's got time sensitive, is kind of focusing just on that for days. And then I don't stitch anything else. So I want to try to not do that as much unless it's absolutely necessary. So what I'm going to do is every single day of the week, I'm going to stitch something different, but I'm going to stay with that project till it's finished for that particular day of the week. So yeah, it's just like my Haid. I'm going to work on that on Saturday. So every Saturday, that's when I'll work on that. And then the other days I have different projects. And when I finish one, then I can move to the next thing to fill in the slot for that day. So that's the plan for now. It's worked for January. I know sometimes we get through part of the year and we're like, I'm tired of this. I want to do something different. It's not to say you can't. Nothing's, chiseled in stone that you have to do it a certain way. But that's what I'm doing now. So this also gives me... it helps me know when I have new starts because I'm kind of highlighting things in different colors when there's something specific that happens. If I have a finish, I have an FFO, if, whatever, if there's something special I need to mark, then I will highlight that. And then I have a little better record of what I have done with that particular piece or why it's special and all that kind of good stuff. So we'll go ahead and get into the whips right off. I think I'll go ahead and put my Haid picture stuff in here right now. Remember, I have to do that separate as a separate video because it's too big to hold. So I will put in a small before video and then the after of what I have finished for this last month. Yes, this is all of what I have done so far. Whenever I have to move the scroll down a little bit, I video the whole thing. It is bowed in a little bit because it's so long now that I can't get a video of it on the scroll rods unless it does that. Okay, there is that. So yes, I am starting to scroll down a little bit more because I've reached the end, and I like to have my stitching as close to that bottom area as possible because then I'm not reaching as far to get to the stitches. Though I am getting to a slight problem that I can probably adjust it a tiny bit more in the next row or the next couple rows to kind of scroll it down a little bit, and then I have reached the maximum that I can scroll it. And so some of it I am going to have to reaching a bit farther in order to finish the top shelf on that bookshelf. So, but yeah, it's looking lovely, very lovely. It'd be nice to have that finished after years and years and years and years of working on it. So yeah, that is kind of what I am going with that for now. Okay, the next things that I am going to do, I'm going to try and figure out if there's any rhyme or reason to how I'm going to show you this. This is one, a whip. I'm going to try and stay with whips and do the new ones after that. And of course I don't have everything quite as organized as I'd like. This is one of them that I picked back up, and I am going to continue working on it. I believe the last time you would have seen it is I had all of this done and this done and this part done. I don't have any of this border around the whole thing. So that's where I would have left off the last time you would have seen it, which probably was a while ago because I don't think I've picked it up for a while. Let's get the little threads out of the way from my needle. And here it is. So I finished the teapot. I might have had a little bit of the teapot done, but I finished that. I've also put in, oh, yeah, I don't think that helps. There is some, actually maybe if I put a paper behind there instead of my hand, there we go. That's a little better. There is, and it's still a little bit hard to see, some stitching on the background, kind of like down here. It's a little bit harder to see that. But there is some there, and I will need to fill that in. That's over here as well. Then what I will have left is there's a little motif here, and then the cherry blossom tree that stretches all the way across, as well as the border. So yeah, I'll kind of show you a close-up of those a little bit more here. Let's move that over. My paper's not quite wide enough. So there's that. There's that. Very nice. I love it. So again, I'll show you the cover picture. So you can see there's some stitching in the background, and then that's that motif, as well as there's one over here, and then this cherry blossom tree branch and all of the border. So yeah, getting there with that. It's very slow progress. I am doing this, I don't think I have the type of fabric I'm using. It is at least a 36, if not a 40. I've got a feeling it might be a 40 count fabric. I might have it somewhere. It's been so long I don't remember where I've put that information because it doesn't seem to be attached to this. So I'm using one thread over two. It changes colors quite a bit, and so it's just slow. It's remarkably slow. For almost a whole month, I basically got that teapot done and some of those little stitches in the background. So it's not moving along terribly quickly, that's for sure. Let's see what our next one is. Okay, this is another one that I have not picked up for a very long time. It was something, again, I did actually finish something, so you'll see that, but I needed to find something to fill that slot, and so I rummaged through my whips, and I decided I'd pick this one up again, and that is this. Isn't that mouse so cute. So it's called Freedom, Madame Chantilly. That's what it is. And I had done all of the ivy type stuff and probably up to about here on the can. Most of this red part of the spout. But that was about it. That's all I had done beforehand. So I will show you what I have done. And that is this. So I got, most of the can finished. I still have the spout up here that I'm going to have to get done. But yeah, there's that. And then the mouse is probably, 50 to 60% done. And then I got to move on to the flag, the bundle of stars and stuff he's holding, as well as the blocks that say USA. So I don't know. I'm not sure how long this will take. It feels like it's going quicker than that other one I just showed you. But yeah, it's coming along quite nicely. This also, I'm trying to see if this is what I'm using. I think I'm using 2 threads. So it might be a 32 count. I'm not entirely sure on this one either. I know, I'm terrible, aren't I? Sometimes I still have the paper attached to the fabric, but it doesn't look like I have it. And, oh, here it is. It's inside my bag. I just need to look. It is an Edinburgh linen flax. It is 36. So I am probably using, oh yeah, look at my needle too. I would be able to see there's only 1 thread there. So it's just I'm using 1 thread on this one as well, because 2 gets a little bit bulky. I did have a bit of a scare when I picked this thing back up because, as I said, I was about halfway through the can, or almost halfway through the can, and I didn't have any of my floss in my bag for some reason. And most of it's, all the called for that they list on the chart is DMC. So it's like, did I borrow it for something else? Because it's literally been probably more than a year that I picked this thing up. Did I borrow the floss for somewhere else? Or what? Why don't I have it in there? I did have 2 fancy flosses in the bag with it. And I don't know if I used the fancy floss on the ivy, because that was kind of one of the coloring, or if I was thinking about using it, I don't know. And then I had another red fancy floss, but the red was just slightly too dark for what was already on there. And I'm like, well, what did I use? If I have fancy floss stuck in here, did I use a fancy floss for that can, or did I use the call for DMC? So I finally went and got some of the DMC that I had, and thank goodness that was the color I had used. So I didn't have to unpick, because there was no way I was going to be able to match if I had used something different or unique. There was no way I was going to unpick that much, because that's a lot. There's a lot of rows there. So thankfully the DMC was the correct color, and I'm going to finish this before I put all the thread away. But yeah, that's coming along quite nicely. I'm very happy with it, and it'll be cute, and I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do. Kind of one of the other things I'm really hoping, and I know I'm saying this out loud, is that as I finish something, I'm actually going to try and FFO it. The thing that I finished this month, I did FFO, but I already knew what I was going to use to FFO it. So that's part of the problem, is knowing what you're going to use or how you want to finish it. And therefore, it takes a little bit longer to figure that out if you don't already have that planned. And maybe, like, I really don't want to FFO this right now, and I'm going to do it later. I don't know. Okay, let's find the next thing that you have already seen. This, again, I haven't. This is a new for you to see recently, but I started it a little while back, and that is the Secret Garden. This is from the Stitching Book Club. You can see that. But this was from, like, 2021. I think is the year that they did this. I think I started it last year, because I wasn't part of the book club when they did this. But I haven't picked this up for a little while, so it also is not something that you've seen recently. I need some paper to put behind this, so let me grab that. Sorry for the thread, but it is still attached because I have had to stop in the middle of something. And here you go. So I'm filling in that keyhole. The stuff I had finished before, I had a part of the letters done. I had, I believe, that flower, that hinge, and maybe this much of the flowering. So kind of this little corner area here. So yeah, I finished the flowers over here, the key, some more letters, this foliage up here, and of course the lock, the keyhole area. So it's coming along nicely. I really like the coloring. I did special order the fabric from, I think it was Stony Creek is where she had gotten hers, because it's like a raspberry chocolate, and I was having a terrible time finding something that looked like that, and I really wanted that color. I really liked it. So I did have to order that when I had started this. I do want to show you how they finished it, if I've got a picture of that. I don't know if I do. Oh, I do. It's a very, very nice finish if I end up doing it that way. So it is in, it's kind of hard to tell, it's in a shadow box, and she has added this stuff on here is actual like fake flowers in the corners and stuff. And so she finished it to look like a door, because there's a mat. This is a green mat, so it's arched and it looks like a door, and with the hinges and everything, it really looks like a door then. So that is what my intentions are. We shall see if I actually end up doing that or not. I will not try to cut out the mat like that. That's too much of a specialty look. I will have to pay somebody to do that for sure. A lot of finishing I do myself because I know how to, you know, like doing the pin method, as well as I have done, you know, where you tie it in the back. I don't really prefer that method as much, but I can do most of my own finishing, and of course I do so. That's a no-brainer. But yeah, it's, yeah, that kind of thing. The mat, there's no way. Alrighty, moving on to the next whip you have seen in the past, and that is this one. This was just a simple pickup from like Walmart. Very, very simple kind of kit. You can see all of the Janlin, I think, is who Needlecrafts. It's just a simple one. Again, I have cut off just a little bit of this much of the stitching. I'm not doing because the fabric they gave me, which I went ahead and used, was not wide enough. I don't think I have anything big enough to put behind this, so we'll just go with it. This is how much I have done. I got quite a bit more. I had to, I don't think I've done any more of the sky. I've done a lot of sand lately, a lot of sand. And then the other thing I did was the outlining. So for the lighthouse and the house, I outlined that. There is more outlining that they have charted in the grass, but I don't want to do that. I want to leave it kind of just, you know, figure out with your own eye. But I did need to, I wanted to outline and give definition to the roof and the house and the lighthouse parts, because that really, really did need it. It was not quite enough. The other thing I'm doing, as you can see, I've done some of the letters. So this is the letters, how it looks as charted. This is what I have done, and the only difference is I backstitched around all of it. It defines it better, it makes it more solid. I really, 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 really like it. And I used like the darkest blue that they have as part of the chart. So it kind of, I don't know if you can really see that. You probably can't because it's not far off from the black. But if you were in person, you probably could see it, and it's, you know, it's charted in the sky. I kind of like that idea of having it with a blue tinge. But yeah, it's really coming nicely and getting there. So that is what I'm working on one of the other days. And if you hadn't noticed, I am putting stuff away as I get it out, so it's not a complete wreck of a mess when I finish all of this. So yeah, so I think we're going to go ahead and do, I'm going to show you what are whips for me, but they're new starts and you have not seen them yet. Let's get into those. And this first one is something that the stitching group that I have, that I met at StitchCon, our lovely stitching friend group now that we have, the 6 of us. 2 of those people have said, is anybody interested in doing this new start on January 1st all together? And so those 2 people and myself are the only ones out of the 6 of us who are going to do it, and it is this one. So Plum Street Samplers. This is the day is the title of the chart. I'll show you close up what it looks like. That house is going to be the death of me, I swear. And I will show you what I've done so far on that, and maybe you can agree. I mean, any of you who have done houses that have brickwork or whatever, especially if they're big houses, you completely understand and probably agree with me. So yeah, that's what it is. Let me get my paper to put behind here so y'all can see it. And there it is. So I have almost all of the flower pot done over there. And a few of the flowers, and let's move that. The brick. Now I don't have any of the mortar done in the brick because I wanted to have at least a section of the brick done before I did the mortar and filled that part in. So that's the end part of the house. I'll show you. That is just this section right here. You can see I've done a little bit of this. So I still have a good amount of brickwork to do over here. And then the roof, it's just going to be monotonous. Fill in up there. But you can see how many flowers I have done in comparison. I've done just like this much of the flowers. So I've got quite a bit of flowers left. I haven't done any of the words. Sky, the borders, I haven't done any of that left yet. So I still have a bit more to work on. Lots of color changes because there's probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 different colors of bricks. And it changes all the time. So, yeah. But it's getting there. It's been very nice. That's what I've done in the month. So if I keep up with that progress, I mean, it's still going to take me probably till April or May to finish this thing. But we'll see. We'll see if things change, if they get any faster for some reason, or if it's all just going to be the same speed progress that I'm doing now. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, put all this away and move on to the next one for y'all to see. I have 1 or 2 more new ones. That's the biggest thing. Let's see. Okay, here's the other one. This was, I started because I wanted to have a birthday start this year. I mean, it's very close to the New Year's because my birthday's on the 3rd, so I still wanted something different and new for that. And I did this. So this is the 6th day of Christmas, and I am doing the tree, not the sampler part. It is by from Liz Matthews. I love it. I love the coloring. I love a lot of the 12 Days of Christmas stuff, but I really like how it was charted and made for this piece. Get my thread out of the way again, and I will show you what I've done. I've gotten quite a bit done. I think this is not going to take too much longer to finish. There we go. You can see it's pretty big. I mean, it's longer than my hand for the base, so it's a decent sized tree. But it's getting there, and you know, got stuff up here somewhere. This is done on a 32 count. I believe she might have said 36 for the chart, but I didn't want to work on 36. I just didn't feel like it. So didn't. So yeah, I've gotten this much done. Since I know how I'm gonna, like, I'm making it into a tree, hopefully it won't be too difficult to do the finish on it because I know what I'm doing. There's more to come about this later on in the video, and I'm not going to tell you any more than that. You just have to wait and see. Okay, so there is another new one, and let's see, did I have one more? Oh, might be it. I thought I had more new ones, but apparently not. So, just double checking. Got all my whips sitting here next to me. Okay, that is all the whips that I have done for this year so far, and will continue to do. I will get into the finish a little bit later in the video, so we will show you that, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. So let's move on to the next thing. And the next thing is some trips that I took. I normally don't do this many in 1 month. It just happened to be how it worked out. So for my birthday, and if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this kind of information. I went to the beach. I stayed 2 nights. I did go by myself, which is just fine. I am fine doing stuff by myself. Sometimes it's nice just getting away. But it's also nice going with friends too, or family. So I did that at the beginning of January. And then just the other day, I went with my best friend to the beach again. She'd give me a birthday card and said, we need to get away and do something, whether it's a day trip or an overnight one, whatever. We need to go do something. Because it's been a while since we've done that. I think it's been a couple of years since we kind of went off and did something together all by ourselves. So we decided to go to the beach again. The first one at the beginning of January, I went down to stay in Newport, which is a little farther south than I normally, if we go directly to the beach, just south of that by about half an hour. And the second one that we just came back from, we went to Lincoln City, which is a direct, that's what we first hit when we go to the beach from our house. It's about an hour away from our house. And so we went to those two, I went to those 2 different beaches. I do have some video, pictures, whatnot of both of those trips. I'm trying to remember if there's anything special I want to tell you about those. The first one was more cloudy, not as nice. It rained a little bit here and there. But yeah, it was just nice. Both places we had like balconies that were on the coastline, so you could see. I mean, most of the stuff is up on hills and cliffs, so you're not like at water level. You're up a little bit, just because of how the coastline is. So you were able to look down onto the beach and the ocean and everything while you're sitting in your room. So it's nice with that. The temperature was decent at the beginning of January. I didn't even have to have a coat sometimes during the day when I was outside. The other day, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's been very cold here, and we definitely needed coats. Though the surprising thing for this last trip, it was like no wind, and it was sunny and beautiful, but it was chilly. So we weren't thinking we were going to be able to walk on the beach because it was so cold, but once we got down there, because there was no wind and it was sunny, it felt warmer than it actually was. So we did actually go for a walk on the beach. We played a couple of games. One was new to me. I think she had played it before, and now I don't remember what it's called. Rummikub or something like that. It's like the same idea as playing the card game Rummy, or Gem Rummy, if you call it that too. It's just used with little tiles and done just maybe slightly different than the card game. Then the other one I have played, but it's been years and years and years, like when my kids were little. That's how long ago I played it. And that was called Phase 10. It's a card game as well. I love playing that game. It's just so much fun. I don't know why I like it. But yeah, we ended up playing that. The hotel we were staying at had some games that you could borrow, and that was one of them. So we ended up playing that, and that was a blast. We didn't get through all 10 phases because it does take a while, and we didn't have enough time to do that because we did it the morning we had to check out. So just didn't have quite enough time to do all phases, but it was still a blast. And now we know we've got a couple more games to play for our date nights when both our husbands are there. And we usually play games a lot of times for our date nights. So we have a couple more we can play with them. But yeah, so I'm going to put those videos and pictures in so you can see what happened and all that good stuff. So as you can see, the beach pictures were lovely. Some videos I had. I mean, I couldn't believe the one video I got of the waves and the seagull just flew by and doing its cawing the whole way. It's like I almost put that, you know, arranged that, and I didn't. It just happened to work out that way. The sunset on this last trip was amazing. Usually you just see that, you know, the coloring where the sun is setting, and it fades out from the sides. The whole horizon was that deep orange color. It was so pretty. It was so pretty. I don't remember seeing it like that before. So it was a lovely trip. Really, really, really nice. Another picture I'm going to put in, as I'm going to talk about a couple of more stitching things here, is the friendship piece. I don't remember what it's called because I don't have it here with me, but I'm going to show you the picture of it. And it is, it's after I got it back from Jody. So this is the piece that all 6 of us, our stitching group that I just talked about earlier, everybody's going to stitch their own person. So they get to design what dress they want. Now I have a pattern, so we have the size, and that's all going to be correct and everything. And it did give 3 different, they were, sorry, they were originally angels, and I just said, don't stitch the wings and the halos. But it had 3 different ones, different dress pictures that you could choose from. But I had also told them, be creative. If you want to design your own dress, that's fine. Just make sure it's the correct size. I don't care. Make it your own. I wanted the hair. I want them to do the hair the way that their hair is, so it matches them. And as you see in the picture when I show it, it shows hers, and she's got more of the purpley red hair, and then mine is usually always up in a clip, kind of bun type thing, and so I stitched mine that, as well as the coloring of my hair. So it is now on to the next person already. So I don't have it here. I just have a picture of what, and it's going to be a little wrinkly because I didn't iron it. It was just a picture I took real quick, and then I wanted to get it in the mail to the next person as fast as possible. So I'm going to put that in here so you can see how it is going. So isn't that adorable? When I got it back, I'm just like, it's so cute. I love it. It's turning out so well. So Pam has it now. I talked to her after she got it so she could make sure she could understand the directions, because how you stitch the hands is slightly different than maybe how it's charted. And to try to make sure she understood all that, as well as talking about, you know, making it unique to her. And so she's already got her idea of what she wants to do. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. So I can't wait to see that. I don't know how fast she stitches, but maybe I'll get it when we go in March to visit everybody. I don't know. It would be fun if we did, because then she wouldn't have to worry about sending it back. But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay, now we're on to the FFO one. Okay, the one I FFO'd and finished is this. Yes. Okay, so what I want to tell you that I did that is different. All the called for is done, except for, if you can see, there's little spots throughout here, little white spots. Those are stitched, just 1X stitch of snowflakes and stuff. And I hate doing those because it's just 1 stitch and you don't have a lot of place to anchor when you finish it off. So sometimes I feel like it's not really needed. I don't really need to put it in there. And so I didn't. So here it is. Isn't this the most amazing frame too? I found this in an antique store, and it was very cheap actually, but it's perfect. I mean, you can see it sticks out quite a bit, and it's got this lovely detail to all the corners, and it is the perfect size. So here it is in all its glory. I'll show you close up. So it's very pretty with the coloring, but it also has Kreinik and some beads. And we talked about this a little last time, but like these are beads here. There's some bluish beads here. There's one here and a little bit here. These are more clear beads, clearish white beads. So you can see, and we've got beads up here, but so you can kind of see. Then there is Krynic, so crotch hatching across the stitching there. I don't know how much you can see that. I tried to show you last time, but it's just hard to see. You can kind of see it up here too. So it's, I'll show you the picture. You can see how they have it cross hatched on a lot of the turrets. These silvery ones are silver Krynic. They do not have the cross hatching on because the cross hatching is done with like a different colored Krynic as well. Let me see what color that was. It's like a white, so it's not showing up real well. So we have silver here for Krynic, white cross hatching here, and then the blue Krynic was for these snowflake toppers type stuff. And then also the white Krynic has icicle parts that hang down in different aspects of the castle turrets and different things. So that was also what was done. But yeah, there it is. It's lovely. I'm really hoping they capture this as my thumbnail because it seems like a lot of times I get terrible thumbnail options. Anyway, that is lovely. Now I just got to hang it up somewhere, find a place that I'm going to put that, which I don't know if I've decided. It might go in my stitching room or something. I don't know. I haven't really gotten to those plans yet. Okay, the next thing we're going to get into is my planner pages. So I did a separate video before this one, and it showed the January planner pages that I had made, and then it also showed the bags that I had made. And if you're still interested, go into my Instagram, Bags by Wendy, and I will try to have that in the description so you see how that is. You can type that out, make sure you get to the right site. But anyway, I had put the January ones in there because I wanted to get to you to be able to see those before January is over. In case you wanted to do something, you need a little inspiration for your January planner pages, and January's already gone. So I have February's done, and I am going to put that in here now real quick for you to see those. And here we are with our February planner pages. So I, once again, have a full month worth, and I will be able to show you those, and I will show you what I used as well. So as you can see, this is the first week into February. What I ended up using was another sticker full page, which is this thing here. Okay. It's called The Magic of Winter. That's the title of this particular sticker page. I had gotten this from Craft Warehouse, in case you happen to have one of those near you. If you don't, you might be able to look those up and be able to see if you can order stuff like this or not. This is what's left of the paper. It was a full 12 by 12 size sheet of paper. I used this paper in one of my spreads in January as well. So I got 2 spreads worth of stuff out of this. So yeah, so there is the page. Most of this page, I used some for this strip over here, as well as the backs for my boxes to write in too. This was part of the sticker page, as well as almost everything else. The only other thing that I think I ended up using was this. This is some washi tape, got it upside down. Some washi tape, so like these strips here to give some base to some of these stickers. It's a set, as it says, of 12. And I just used a couple of different coordinating colors on top of each other in some cases just by themselves. And that is from the washi tape shop. So if you're interested in finding more washi tape, they've got a great selection. So there's the week 1. Week 2. Now week 2 I used, let me find my stickers. They're all gone. There's a large sheet and a small sheet that were the stickers. So things like this, in here and here. And then I also used this book for these ones here. So if you've got that kind of look, they're there as well as here. Those are all from this book here. The other thing I ended up using was a couple things. Washi tape as well, again, was this one. So it's actually looks like birds, and there's a little boat down in there and part of it. And that is these strips up here. I just didn't have the boat showing, and then I just tore along the edge for here. And then the bottom part here, that's why it looks a little ragged and uneven, is because I tore it on purpose. And then this sheet, this roll, has a whole bunch of different things, and each of these are individual stickers, so it's not like the whole thing. And so much so that this right here, this is a sticker up here, that's a sticker, and the wording is a separate sticker. So lots and lots of different stickers on here, and I used this throughout. So there's 2 stickers here, the flower and the writing that I just showed you. Over here I have 3 stickers. This piece of grass, this little parchment, and then the with love is here. I used a flower here. So all of those were done with this. This was done really long time ago. I got a sticker sheet from, I think, Hobby Lobby. So that's totally separate. The other thing I ended up using, okay, so if you were curious about these, this is from Pleasantly Planned. I don't know how much you can see that. It's called Sweetheart, if she still has it available. And you can see down here, www.thepleasantlyplanned.com is where you can go. She also has sticker boxes. So I ended up using those. So you can see those are the colors. This was not, most of the time she'll have stickers that coordinate, and it'll say down there, it would say Sweetheart if it coordinated. I think I had enough sticker boxes that I could make it work, and I did. So this is from Winter Woodland, and it all coordinates well enough with that. So the darker grays in here worked well with the grays as well as the bicycle, and then this darker color coordinated well enough with the pinks and the stickers. So that is what I used to create this page. The next page, I ended up using another large sticker page. So this is the sticker page, again from Craft Warehouse. It's called My Valentine. I didn't use quite as much on here. I will probably save this for another time when I do the stuff like this. I used quite a bit of different things in here, as you can see. I took just random scrapbook or papers, okay, and used those in a variety of ways. This was leftover stuff. So I had a big one that I just ripped down the side and used on 2 different places. I used a bunch for the backings of the stickers or for my boxes to write in. Just backing of some of this. This was all the stickers here, 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 here. This whole thing here, 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 here was all the stickers from that. I'm going to grab another washi tape from that sticker page. And then I believe this one, another washi tape shop one, I used here. So a little bit of that one. I don't think I used it anywhere else. So kind of basic, but there's enough going on here that I did not need to do any more with this. So that one's pretty simple. And then this one's very simple. Sometimes you just need that after you've done so much with so many of the others. You just need to make it simple and not go too crazy on it. So this one was done again with the Pleasantly Planned. I've used the whole sticker page. There's nothing to show you there. It did have a page here. I got 2 of them actually with boxes that coordinated with these colors. This one was called, yeah, it does say that, Feline Companions. And again, it's by Pleasantly Planned. I've gotten sticker sheets from lots and lots of different people. So you've got a lot of the flowering and the cats, flowers, things. It does have a butterfly here. There was another one where a cat is sitting in a cat bed with a couple of plants by it. I also have a small planner that I make pages that match these as well, so I can take that around with me if I need to have that with me. The other thing I ended up using, and I got this a while ago, was this sheet. It does have some dog stuff on the back, but it also had cat stuff, so this chair came from that. This, and this all came from that, from this one, so just kind of coordinated it with the coloring and the stickers that I had. You can opt, when you order stickers from places like this, a lot of times they'll give you the option of either having it on white paper, which is what these are, or having it on clear sticker paper, which is what this was. So you can kind of see through the sticker and see the box or some of the couch, the chair thing here. Another example is here, you can see through it. Usually the clear is more expensive than the white backing. Now, the only issue with that is sometimes with the clear, I like it clear, but I like having the option of not seeing everything behind them. So like these cats, the cats were on clear sticker paper, and it would have been too distracting to see all of this behind it. So I put it on regular paper and I cut it out. And I did that for this one as well as that cat. The rest of them I've left on the clear. So this one's still on clear, this one, this one, this one, and this one are all on the clear. I left them that way. And so yeah, I just wanted to kind of make it as this whole diagonal across the page. There may be more things that I need boxes for, and I will fill those in if I feel like I'm going to want to have those. Otherwise, I can just write on the page the way it is. You know, I have options. I still can add more to it if I feel like I need it. But I just kind of wanted this really kind of easy, simple, quiet kind of look instead of some of the craziness like I've done here. That was a lot. There's a lot going on that page. So this is just kind of calm and simple. So yeah, those are my pages that I have done for February. I'll kind of flip through them again so you can see real quick. There, and there, and there. I did go ahead and make this more of a winter one. It's beginning of February. It still potentially has a chance of being cold, and I will move into more, as you could see, I got Valentine, but I will move into more springy stuff into March. So there you go. I hope that that gave you some ideas and some things to kind of get the juices flowing for creativity. So at the beginning, when I showed you the first week of February, I mentioned that it is kind of a snowy theme, and I said, you know, sometimes February is cold, and that way I'm not making all the pages Valentines and whatnot. But it turned out to be a perfect one for that week, for this week, because it is cold here. So yeah, that just turned out. And we have had, I don't know if it's been 2 or 3 years now, right in the smack dab middle of February, we had a huge snowstorm, ice storm, and just, it was terrible. We lost power and everything. So February can be nasty. It can also be unseasonably warm. I remember in Minnesota, a lot of times we had some very, very warm weather in February, and then it got very cold again. So you just never know. You never know. All right. I want to talk about something I have also started to try to get back into this year, and that is reading. I love reading. I have bookcases full of books that I have read in the past. I think since media stuff has gotten to be so prevalent, it's very easy for us to glue ourselves in front of our phone, TV, or whatever, and just do that kind of stuff. The other thing is the stitching takes up time. And so I'll do stitching, and of course I might be watching TV or a movie or Flosstubes. And so that takes up time too. So you have to plan to when you're going to take the time to do reading for books. You just have to. Otherwise you aren't going to be able to probably fit it into your day. It's just not going to happen. It's kind of like exercise. If I don't say I'm going to exercise and make a time for it, it's probably not going to happen. So I have started doing reading, and I've done very well this month. I'm not a fantastically fast reader by any means. I also don't set aside a huge chunk of time to read. It might be a half an hour, it might be an hour. It just kind of depends on how many pages I end up reading or trying to read and how tired I might be, and so am I slow my reading down that day, whatever. So I have read 2 books this month. If I read 2 books a month, I'm happy with that. I don't necessarily need to read more than that because the books are kind of long, so it takes a while. The first book that I read was Where the Crawdads Sing. I had wanted to get to the movie or whatever forever, and I forgot about it after it came out, and I was at the library, and it happened to, it's like, oh, I wanted to watch, read, whatever that. So I had looked it up, and unfortunately, the library in the town where I actually work, which is about 10 minutes away, did not have it, but the library that's a block from my house had it. So as soon as I was done in that town, I quickly came over here and got it. And she's like, wow, this is hardly ever here. So it was kind of a fluke that I was able to get it right away. I liked it a lot. I really liked that book. I did end up watching the movie afterwards. It stayed pretty true to the book. Obviously, the book's going to have a lot more details. There's a few things that they changed, but not enough to change the storyline at all. So I really, really, really liked it. So yeah, I definitely would recommend it. I also read, let me see here, Matthew Perry's book, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. I'm a Friends fan, so I watch Friends all the time, reruns. Yeah, I really like that TV series. So I knew that he had problems, varying different times throughout the taping of Friends as well as afterwards. So this kind of gives you a rundown of everything, basically, is almost his whole life, and including a lot of the times when he struggled with the addictions. So I'm not going to go into those because that's the main part of the book. It was a little, if you are not a fan of swearing, especially using the F word, I don't recommend reading this book because he uses it liberally throughout the book. But if that doesn't bother you, you can read that. Just like any time when you read about depression or people who don't think as highly of themselves and put themselves down all the time, it gets a little down to read it. So just beware of that. It's a little hard to get through that. But it is interesting to see what happened to him, medically speaking, because he went through a lot. I think a lot that most people don't know. So that is the second book that I read in January. I have already started the book that I'm going to count as February's read, because there's no reason to wait a day or two just because I'm in January. I was looking online for recommendations of, something to read, the next books I would read. And I came across, this is one of the first suggestions, and I really like that. It's called The Ride of Her Life. It's written by Elizabeth Letts. That's not the person, so she's writing this about this person. I don't know if this gal is still alive. I don't think she is, because she was, when she went to do this, she was given only like 2 to 4 years left to live. And I don't know. I have just started this, so I don't remember if she actually did only live that long. But she was a Maine farmer. Her name is Annie. This is in the 50s, is when this woman did this. Obviously, as I mentioned, she got really, really sick, and they think part of what caused the problems is she had TB, tuberculosis, when she was younger, and then that flared, they think maybe, and maybe they'll tell me more as I read through this, but they think that might have flared up and now is causing her to have additional problems and giving her this life expectancy of a few years. But for some reason, she had always wanted to see the Pacific Ocean. I don't know if she'd even see the Atlantic Ocean, even though she lived in Maine. But she wanted to see the Pacific Ocean for some reason. she didn't have much money. In fact, I haven't gotten to the point of how much money she did have, but she struggled. She was very, very poor. She just didn't have a lot. I mean, very little. In fact, so much so that the farmhouse that was on the property, because it had been passed down from generation to generation, had burned down, and there was an attached barn to it, and that burned down years and years ago. And because they didn't have money to rebuild or anything, she made her home out of something that was similar to a like a corn crib, root cellar type of building. Basically a shack was what we would call it. And that is what she used as her home for years. So she was very, very, very poor. Did not have a lot of money. She is in her 60s, I believe, when they write that, when she's dealing with this. So she decides that she is going to go see the Pacific Ocean before she dies. But because she doesn't have any money, I mean, they didn't have electricity, they didn't have running water, they didn't have any of this kind of stuff. So she ends up getting a horse. Apparently it's like a old race horse she buys. It's also got, and I'll show you the picture, she must have gotten another horse or a mule as well. Looks like it might have been. I don't know if it doesn't have the really big ears like a mule. I just don't know. And her little dog. And she is going to ride across America to see the Pacific Ocean. Yeah. Is that amazing or what? Now, part of the problem, I mean, you're sitting there thinking, how on earth is she going to make it from Maine to California? And part of the problem is that because she didn't have electricity, they didn't own a television, I don't think they owned a radio, nothing. They just knew about their own small little world in Maine, this little community. She did not know how the interstates had started popping up and how things had changed in that respect. She's used to walking, horseback riding, maybe being able to ride in a buggy, a wagon. That's it. So she now has learned that the interstate system, or is going to learn how the interstate system has popped up. That's going to block how she's going to be able to get there. So it's the journey of her going across and how she does it. It sounds absolutely fascinating to me. And I really like so far what I've read. So I'll have to tell you at the end of the month when I make the next video whether I liked it. And I don't want to give things away, so I just kind of leave some groundwork of the book, telling you so far what it was about. But she has quite the adventure from the flaps that I had read. So yeah, I can't wait to get through that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let's do one more thing, and I think that will be the last thing we end up doing. And that is going to be any new purchases I have. So let's see if I can figure out all the stuff I have here. Because there actually is a few things. And I'll explain why I have these. The first one was scrolling through something, I don't know if Instagram or what, and talked about Stone Street Stitchworks was having a sale. All of these that I got were PDFs, so I printed them off. It's not something I had to wait to get sent to me. So I got 3 patterns from that little sale, and I will show you what I ended up getting. First one was this. So you got the old gas lantern. It's got like snowflake type stuff with snow and a couple of houses. It's very sweet. And of course you can put whatever year you want in there. So that's the first one. Second one was this. Okay, so in case you wanted to know, this is called Cobblestone Crossing. That's what this chart is called. This one is called Lighthouse. And it gives you both patterns, in case you can tell the difference. So this has a little chandelier in there. This has a smaller chandelier with a tree. So you got lights and then just kind of different motifs here throughout. But this one is more snowflake related. And of course you got some snow on the ground. It's a little bit different, but you get both. And then this one, Fireworks on the 4th is what this is called. Really love this mandala up here, as well as the barn buildings and the house and whatnot. So that should be fun to stitch as well. So those are what I got from Stone Street Stitchwear, which I'm sure you could still get those patterns if you wanted, but they may not be on sale anymore. Let me see which one of these. I've got 2 packages. Oh, okay. I'm going to show you this one first. I, every once in a while, will get things from Hirschner's. Not all the time. It kind of depends what I see in there. But they had a sale where it was like free shipping. The shipping kills you most of the time. So I had my eye on this pattern. There's actually 2 patterns that they were different, but they looked similar. They went together, and I decided to only get one of them. And that was this. This will go with my other tea or coffee or whatever you want to, you know, this is coffee, but this will go with other stuff that I have in my wall in my kitchen. I've got a big poster with different tea pots and different things in it. So I'll add that to it when I finish. It is full coverage, a variety of things. So you got a coffee plant here, just some things that coffee. Got this lovely, almost, I mean, it's got a bird. I don't know if it's supposed to be Asian looking or not. You got like a postcard looking thing. And then you got the coffee, like labeling thing here. It's called Lion Coffee. It is composed of a successful combination of mocha, java, and Rio. And then the little tag on the side says, is never sold in bulk. So it is called Lion Coffee. And it does say C, because I think the other one might have some Lion Coffee as well. But that will be very nice to put with my other tea stuff and coffee stuff. So I got that. And then the other thing that I got, and the reason I ended up getting it, is because one of the stitching group, our 6 people, sent me a little note saying happy birthday, and you have a gift certificate at 123 Stitch for you to use for whatever you want to get. So I had to go on there and find what I wanted, which that can be a downward slope very fast. So it was a matter of trying to figure out what I wanted. That was one thing. And then, you know, I wanted to make sure I had at least the amount that she had given me. And of course, I ended up going over a little bit because nothing's ever going to be that exact amount. So one of the things I got, and both of these patterns are from Hello from Liz Matthews again. Squirrel! Isn't that so cute? So you got squirrels, you got, looks like corn at the bottom, an acorn, and a little boat at the top. So cute! Yeah. I don't know if it comes with both of these. I haven't looked in there, so I don't know if that's a separate chart or I can't remember. But definitely got the autumn tree, which is what this is. And then I got this one. So this is the first day of Christmas. So it's got the sampler as well as the tree. And I will do the tree to match with my 6th day with the goose. Love the coloring, all that. And so this is kind of a generic fabric. I can probably use just about anything. But this one is more of the green, and I can't remember. I think I tried to look and see if I had the green, and I didn't have anything. So while I was on the 123 Stitch site, I got some. Now I could not, they did not have, they called for, which I think was Weeks Kudzu. They didn't have it. So I was trying to find something that was similar. Let me see if it says. Okay, it's got to say somewhere what the color is in here. It's not showing on that. Oh, yeah, it says on my paper that came with it. It doesn't say anything. It's kind of printed on here, but you know, when they cut it off, I didn't recognize that was what it was. This is putty. I also went with the same stitch count that my other tree was, so it's not the called for 36, it's the 32. So it's this. So this is going to be very similar enough or look good enough with the tree that even though it's not the called for, I think it will be just fine. So you can see it's the lighting. It'll be fine. I think it's kind of, I mean, yeah, that's pretty green there. Sometimes it looks like it's more brown than it is in the video. So yeah, I was able to get those from her. So thank you, Nora. That was lovely. A nice surprise and a nice little gift to boot. So yeah, those were the new things that I got. A lot of times I don't have new things to show you because I try not to like just buy and buy and buy and buy. So yeah, that's all the things I got. I will probably put a video out. I'm thinking about this. So the next video would be about the end of February, maybe the very beginning of March, which I probably will do. But about the 8th is when I will that's when we're going to go visit all together, our stitching group, have our own little special retreat in Wisconsin, just at their house. But it's a nice time to be able to get together. So looking forward to it. But I don't want to wait until after that to do the next video, because it would be fun to have video to show you of what we did and getting together and everything. So we'll just have to wait till the end of March to see that one. Anyway, that is it, and that's what I've done so far. I'm still working at Hallmark. They've kept me on past Christmas. They, obviously it's probably not going to be as many hours as the year goes on because they don't need people to work as much. It's not as busy. So I'm not sure how many hours I will end up with, but that's fine. It just gives me something to do part of the time instead of sitting around the house trying to find something to do when it's not warm enough to be outside yet. So that's what I'm doing. More stitching, working, getting some projects done around here that I can. I'm trying to get the inside projects done, but the motivation's not there a lot of times because I just don't want to do that. But I need to. So hopefully we'll get more of that done. Anyway, I'm going to skedaddle from here now because this video has been long enough, and we'll see you all again next month. Bye.